You're listening to the Behind the Ears podcast, because everybody does Disney differently. The Behind the Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. Hey everybody, it's Mr. Chris, and I gotta tell you about Expedition Roasters. Listen, I'm a pretty big coffee drinker, just like a lot of you are, but these people have got coffee right. Their coffees are made from selectively sourced premium and specialty grade Arabica beans. They provide the absolute best flavor and aroma, and select roast even come directly from a single estate farm for a truly perfect cup that is never bitter. They've got awesome Disney-inspired flavors such as Roundhouse Roast, Route 66, Skipper's Brew, Dark Side Roast, Redhead Rum, and one of my favorites, Bob Slitter's Brew. Listen, if you want to have the taste of Disney in every cup, give them a try today. ExpeditionRoasters.com, and Behind the Ears podcast listeners gets an extra 20% off your first order by using the coupon code EARS20. That's right, EARS20. And you can find them over at ExpeditionRoasters.com. Brew your happy place. If you have a little one and you're going to Walt Disney World, you're going to need a stroller. I'll tell you what, KingdomStrollers.com is the place where you want to look into. I'll tell you, I've destroyed my fair share of strollers while at Walt Disney World, and those things are not cheap. But getting something from KingdomStrollers.com, they'll be able to help you pick out the perfect stroller for you. And the nice part is that because they're a Disney preferred provider, they'll be able to drop it off and pick it up right from your Disney resort at no extra charge. So if you don't want to necessarily destroy your stroller in the process and you want to have a great Disney vacation with your little one, contact KingdomStrollers.com and they'll set you right up. That's KingdomStrollers.com. Do you want to save around 40% off Disney's prices for deluxe on-property accommodations? Contact DVC-rental.com. They help out Disney Vacation Club owners rent out points that they're not going to use. These points mean savings for you on your next trip at Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Vero Beach, Florida, and Hilton Head Island in South Carolina. The DVC member books everything in your name, just like any other reservation. And if you ever decide that you want to become a DVC member, you can check out our sister company, BuyAndSellDVC.com. As a licensed realtor, they sell DVC contracts for members at a savings of 30 to 40% off Disney's prices. And if you're looking to sell your contract, BuyAndSellDVC.com has one of the industry's lowest commissions at only 6.5%. Again, that's DVC-rental.com for your rental needs, and BuyAndSellDVC.com to buy or sell into the Disney Vacation Club at a large discount. And make sure you tell them that the Behind the Ears podcast crew sent you.
Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Ears podcast. I have a feeling that our attendance is going to be low due to the fact of, well, we have a large majority of our listeners from the Northeast, and it's Thursday night football, and there's two local teams playing. So thank you all for took the time out to come watch us, though.
And who are those local teams? We know one are the Eagles
and the New York Giants.
Well,
and the seagulls are pooping on them.
There you go. So,
but
yeah,
more pressing things. I'm Uncle Danny. That is Mr. Chris. We are Behind the Ears podcast. If you're new to the show, thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in, Chris. We had a nice little giveaway. Thanks to our fantastic sponsors at Expedition Roasters. Do you happen to have that person's name off the top of their head?
You didn't think I'd actually come prepared, did you?
It's okay. We can get that. The only reason I was doing that is because I was honestly trying to dig back to find out who happened to win our poll from Tuesday night. We did a bracket challenge. Of all the rides that somebody had made, me and Chris myself, went head to head, and I am proud to announce that the two finalists were Tower of Terror, which was my pick, and Chris's Rock and Roller Coaster, and it was a lot closer than I thought. I thought it'd be close, but this was actually pretty close. Tower of Terror squeaks by 35-30, so we had 65 votes. Technically 63 because Chris and myself both voted. So.
Wow, that you're right. And I think out of all the different things that we've done in this manner, that is probably the closest margin between winner and loser that we've ever seen in at least one of our polls.
Yeah.
But
did you? I'm sorry. Again.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, but I want to say to Michelle King, you are going to get some awesome coffee from Expedition Roasters. And on top of that, I wanted to go ahead and say, Wendy, Nancy, Sarah, Albert, and Kevin, you're all getting a swag pack. If everything goes right, I will be sending out an email to absolutely everybody looking for some mailing addresses because I can't just beam them to you. So wait until you get my email, and I'll get some some actual mailing addresses back from y'all, and I'll get that stuff out to you as soon as I possibly can. And Michelle, your coffee is going to be coming directly from Expedition Roasters.
So, Chris, on a personal note, did you happen to see all that cool stuff I was able to buy?
Dude,
in the group chat?
Okay, seriously. I'm kind of going through our email like I do a couple times a day.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
And all of a sudden I'm like, you've been outbid. You've been outbid. You've been outbid. I'm like,
there's going to be a lot of those. I need to figure out a way to shut them off.
I'm like, what the heck have you done? Oh, by the way, I'm going to mention this really quick. Alex, I've mentioned to you before, my friend, I had to wait until after the contest, and I'm going to be including you as one of our swag pack people as well. So I'll make sure it gets out to you. I have your address. It's all good. I just going to be mailing them all out at the same time. You'll be getting yours along with them. So how's that? That's awesome. So I saw all the different things. I'm like, what is Danny looking into? And so I'm like, I go and look. I'm like, oh, wow, that looks really, really cool. And why don't you go ahead and tell people what you found? Because I probably won't do it justice because I saw a vintage comic. But I know you did more looking than I did. But what were you looking at? And what for, I might add?
No, I'm sorry. You want to know the site you said?
No. I was going to say,
I don't want to give the site away because I don't want people to flood. Because there's a very minute amount of Disney memorabilia they have. And I'm trying not to give it away. Well, first off, there's big news coming down the pipeline, but we're just not ready to announce that yet. But I'm a big collector when I can be, when my pockets afford everything. So I had worked some overtime, and I was like, do I want to gamble this week, or do I want to buy some memorabilia? And there are some memorabilia I've had my eye on for the last few weeks, finally became available. So I decided to bid on them. And let's just say, I bought 4 things. And I think with insurance, taxes, shipping, and the price of the item, I was under $200 for all 4 items.
Oh, that's not bad.
Not bad, right? Non-Disney, I actually bought a 1967 Superman comic. It's issue 194, and it's actually from February of 1967. Selling price a whopping 12 cents. Yeah, think about that. And I paid well more than 12 cents for it. This is something that I've had my eye on for a very long time. It's I don't want to call it a rare comic, but it is. It's hard to find it without like pages missing and things like that. And this was a 1966 Batman edition, number 184, also sold for 12 cents. This was the September edition, so it was for their Halloween that came out the month before. So it's Batman for 13 Jittery Nights. Basically, Batman and Robin were MIA. So those are the non-Disney things. To get into the Disney things, I just truly got lucky and stumbled across a Walt Disney comic and stories. And it is a Donald Duck comic, this one. It was released in October of 1958, and it's issue number 217 from the Dell comic book section. It's once again October, so it's their Halloween one. It's Donald Duck standing at a bed he was looking for his kids, but instead they're 3 pillows with 3 pumpkin heads. I'm assuming there's some mischievous things going on in this comic book.
Not from Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Never. And finally, this is the thing that I have been watching for a very long time. There had been rumors that it was going to become available, and I got this for a steal, and I honestly feel bad for getting it as cheap as I did. It is an original 1939 Silly Symphony, the original Disney comic display, and it's matted and everything. So basically, imagine opening up your newspaper in 1939. You would have had a comic section, and it's an entire side of a newspaper, but it's just Mickey and Pluto. The top is Pluto the pup, and underneath is Mickey Mouse comic.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to be very, very honest with you. I saw that you were bidding on that, and just for a moment, I was going to say, I've got a bigger credit card than him. I was going to get it because it looked really, really cool. But no, I didn't. I didn't know what was going on. How much did that one go for, if you don't mind me asking?
$53.
You know what? To be honest with you, if it is what it really looks like on the screen,
and that's the thing, you don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
pictures don't show creases and lines. I'm assuming it's going to be wrinkly, but I mean, it's pre-matted. So I don't know what year they matted it down, but hopefully they kept it clean, and hopefully it's good. If not, it's still a cool piece.
Yeah, I mean, it looked really, really cool. I mean, it really looked like it would be an awesome piece to hang on, a wall, type of thing. And actually, I was actually going to be telling you this anyway off the side, but since you're looking for really cool collectibles to put on your wall, I'm actually starting to, in essence, redesign my studio here too. I'm taking the week of Thanksgiving off.
Nice.
And so I've got to use the days, and I might as well do it then. I am going to purge my office here, and believe me, everybody, I need to badly. And I'm going to throw a lot of stuff out. I'm going to clean the carpets. I'm going to paint. I'm going to change a few things. I'm going to basically make the whole entire one wall that I'm staring at right now is going to be one big long desk. I'm going to mount my monitors for the studio here on the wall. I'm going to mount the monitor for my work, my real job on the wall. Make everything really neat, tidy. Back wall behind me is going to probably be either a dark navy blue, maybe the color of my shirt, or even possibly a dark evergreen color as well. Something that's going to really be a nice contrast. I may even put a little bit of, lighting in here in order to make things look a little bit more professional. And, we'll have to see how it goes. And of course, Jessica says, "Hey, Chris, take off Friday, December 7th. They could totally use our help because congratulations to Jessica. They found themselves, the newlywed couple of our Disney community family. They found themselves a nice house. So I may go up there and help them. I don't know. I'm quite expensive."
Back to some things that we were bidding on.
Sure.
I didn't mean to. So I had a brilliant idea, start accumulating things, not only for myself, but not necessarily giveaways for the show, but something along the lines of when we do our marathon show, we might tweak a couple things with giveaways and selling things to raise money and everything. So a couple things that are still not technically mine yet. I have another 52 minutes to obtain these. And there's certain things you'll never hear me say the price, because if we're going to auction them off, I don't want people to know what we paid for them, Right now, I have in my cart, haven't won it yet. This I think you'll like. And this will show you that it's not for me. It's a vintage 1977 Star Wars vinyl soundtrack record album, and the record cover is Darth Vader. It's 2 records.
Oh, wow. I have an idea of how much that's worth, too.
Do you? Okay. I hope I didn't ever pay for it. And this one it's interesting because I have no idea what it's worth. It might be worth nothing. I might have overbid. I'm not positive. But it's the 1996 scoreboard 23 karat gold Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
It's like, I'm assuming like this big. I would assume. Because I mean, if it's 23 karat gold, I can't see it being ginormous.
Why not?
But,
why not 24 karat? I mean, what's that?
23. I don't know. Listen, if I went, it's just cool things that we're gonna be able to do for the show. I was also bidding on Chandler Riggs from The Walking Dead, Carl Grimes.
What?
He signed a sheriff's hat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Steven Tyler signed guitar.
Oh, now
you know what I lost?
That would be
awesome.
awesome.
I lost out on.
What?
And it really hurt me. I lost out on 2 things, and then we'll change the subjects. I know people don't want to hear me talk about this. One, I lost out on the original script of Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, and Ben Affleck signed it.
Ooh. Okay,
that one hurt.
Since you missed out on it, how much did it go for?
Like $60.
Really? That's it? Okay.
I wasn't, this is the one I was really upset for because when you find out the price, it hurts so much. So they had flash sales. They do 10-minute auction sales.
Sure.
I lost out because my mom called me, and and I'm so upset. The original pilot script of episode 1 of Full House, signed by John Stamos, sold for $29.
Oh my gosh! Would
have been my prized possession. I love John Stamos. I was so sad. And then for that, I mean, you got to add. I mean, it's not really 29. Oh, come on, Enrique. Stop looking at my auction site.
Don't post it, Enrique, please.
Don't do things like this.
Oh my
God, I knew I shouldn't have brought this topic up.
Hey, your fault, man.
It is. Anyway,
you didn't clear it with the program director beforehand. So,
yeah. Did you see Danny Elliott? Credits to him. He posted it inside of the WDW community page, showing the insides of Stitch and everything. How they're dismantling everything. Did anybody look at that creepy Stitch with like no skin? It's something like you see in horror movies.
You know what that reminded me of? If Stitch was an animatronic in one of the Indiana Jones movies, where the guy was like melted and stuff like that, when they opened the Ark, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and all it was bones left over. That's what it reminded me of. Is that like either that or you dip Stitch in a bed of acid for about 20 minutes and everything else just dissolved off of him. That was creepy, man. Total creepy.
Yeah, I did not like it at all.
Yeah,
he definitely looked like a gremlin.
Yes,
that's for sure.
I would agree. It was just weird. And
yes, exactly,
what?
Nicole. Exactly.
Yeah.
She said, I actually preferred it that way, the creepier way. Throwback to Alien Encounter.
Yeah, and going along with the lines of, really odd things that you see. I can't remember where I saw it, but someone posted a picture of, Ellen's Energy Adventure where you can see straight through the building. Now they have it opened up in the back. You could actually see all the way through the building. They've gutted it for the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is like, it's just really weird when you see a building like that because you just don't. And that was a pretty big building, especially to handle all the scenes with all those cars and stuff like that. It was just really kind of weird.
What is the big
deal?
I'm trying to think of the word. Yeah, I guess I'm just going to go with something fancier, but what's up with these like tap houses and these craft beer places that are just taking over the world right now?
Why do you bring this up? You obviously have seen something that I did not see.
CityWorks Eatery and Poorhouse is coming to Disney Springs in 2019. The location will serve 80 beers on tap, including rare limited supply, special tappings from local breweries and others from around the world. Created popular wines along with bar bites, shareables, burgers, and more. The 8,600 square foot restaurant will offer special retail space, expansive seating, plenty of high definition TVs, including, wow, that's a big TV, 165-inch screen. It's a big screen. And another 1,700 square foot patio on the outside. The space will also exhibit 3 full service bars, 2 of which will allow for covered open air dining along the patio. CityWorks Eatery and Poorhouse will be located to the west side of the NBA experience with an opening in the summer.
I do remember that article. I didn't actually read it because, to be honest with you, I'm not a big, microbrew type of person. I know it's become very big. In fact, it's kind of funny. Justin kind of mentioned, come to Colorado, they're everywhere. And that's a very true statement, Colorado being a very large beer producing state. The fact of the matter is that, here around the Chicagoland area, it's become a big deal. All these little, craft brews and limited editions and so on and so forth. It's quite the rage right now. And the thing is that, dare I even say, some of it's really good. Especially if you like beer. I'm not talking like, slam it to get drunk type of drinking. To really sip and enjoy, a craft brew these days is actually a very desirable thing. I can see where this is going to, add to, dining and, adult drinking establishments in the area. It's right over there by House of Blues. Not yet knowing what the NBA experience is really going to look like. Not sure how it's going to really fit into that picture yet. But it's going to be right there. And I think it's going to fit in quite well along that area because it's a little bit out of the way, but it's also not in the most crowded part of Disney Springs.
Yeah. There's a couple new stores also making their way through there. 2 new stores are confirmed to open mid-October. So, aren't we basically mid-October? I guess we're a couple days off in mid-October, but they're going to be opening over in the Marketplace Co-op. All right. So first off, I'll start with this one first. Tom Sawyer Island.
Yes.
It's closing for 2 months for refurbishment.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, what are you closing? What are you closing that island for 2 months? What could you possibly do in 2 months? Nothing. You're just shining things up and making them look nicer. That's all you're doing over there.
That's kind of what I read into it, is just more of general maintenance than anything else. Making sure that everything is safe, clean, tidy, touched up. Let's face it. The Magic Kingdom in of itself has seen its share of pretty large crowds this past summer, especially with extra crowds going there during hurricanes from other places of the country. Even now that Hurricane Michael has pretty much come and gone through the Panhandle, people were reporting how the Magic Kingdom was really busy over the last couple of days, possibly because people were trying to get away from the storm.
Yeah,
it was logical. Some people went north, some people went south. So, very logical. And also the fact that Disney really did not get impacted by any of the storm outside of just rain bands. And it wasn't really, it was just rain, Yeah. Magic Kingdom has really seen its share of crowds this past summer. And, even the small, let's face it, Danny, I agree with you. What are they going to do with it? But let's face it, every attraction at any park at Walt Disney World deserves to look good for every guest, even if it may not be the most popular one.
Yeah. Just some quick tidbits. This one was probably a little interesting, but I know we're a little behind on it. The Edison to celebrate the 25th anniversary of The Nightmare Before Christmas. Basically, guests are invited to dress in festive attire that pays homage to The Nightmare Before Christmas as they snack on small plates and signature sips inspired by the film and enjoy an enchanted entertainment lineup that includes flying artillists, stilt walking skeletons, electric dancers, live music, and more. Tasty hors d'oeuvres are passed around with cocktails, including along with the Edison's full food and beverage menu for purchase. Guests must be 21 and older to attend. Tickets are $85 a person plus tax and gratuity, and the event takes place on October 31st at 7:30 p.m. Little hefty because I'm assuming it's not open bar. I'm assuming you're paying for liquor, so $85 just to get you in the door.
Okay. I mean, it's either that or you're going to go to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party.
And pay way more than that. True.
I mean, very true. You're going to have to look at it in a different way. It's like you're going to celebrate it one way or you're going to celebrate it another.
Yeah. So these are going to be quick hits. Not going to go into them, what's going on. But Rafiki's Planet Watch and Wildlife Express will be returning in 2019 after the widespread rumor that it was going away.
Told you.
Spaceship Earth is closing early each day for the next week for planned maintenance. We also have excuse me, I didn't mean to say that. Significant price increases to drinks and snacks at Walt Disney World, which obviously we know all about. Be Our Guest restaurant will be expanding its alcohol availability to breakfast and lunch. Peter Pan's Flight will be closing for a month-long refurbishment come the new year. And the Tomorrowland Speedway will be closing for 5 months to reroute the track around Tron. Lastly, from our little tidbit of news before we get into the bigger news, that is the Nutcracker and the Four Realms. Previews now playing at the Walt Disney Presents over in Hollywood Studios.
I want to see that movie.
Yeah.
The previews look totally awesome. And, I'm not much into to a lot of Christmas themed movies. I just think that they're not all that. I just don't think they're all that. I actually want to see that movie. I was telling my wife the other day, I'm like, I really want to go see that. It's gonna be a good way to kick off the holiday.
So the first thing I would like to get into is obviously it's food, guys. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
You didn't eat dinner yet,
What?
You didn't eat dinner yet, did you?
I did, but this is just too much good food. Reservations and menu details are now available for the storybook dining at Artist Point, and I thought you really would enjoy this because didn't you say you like Artist Point?
I've never been. I've always wanted to go, and now
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's Sanaa. But the thing is I got to be honest with you. I'm still a little bit torn about them changing Artist Point into something not signature dining. It's just my 2 cents.
I don't know. Have you seen this menu yet or no?
I don't think I have, to be honest with you.
Okay. Starting December 16th, pricing is $55 for adults, $33 for children ages 3 to 9, tax and gratuity not included. Each guest will receive one of the appetizers, their choice of an entree, a choice of dessert, as well as their choice of a non-alcoholic beverage. Alcoholic and non-alcoholic specialty beverages are obviously not included. Artist Point will continue to operate as a signature restaurant through November 10th prior to the switchover. Okay? According to Disney, Storybook Dining at the Artist Point will invite guests to venture into an enchanted forest-like setting inspired by Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. There you'll enjoy delicious meals at fantastic fare with visits from Snow White, Dopey, and Grumpy. Delightful music and activities will help bring the classic fairy tale to life, and you'll even have an opportunity for an encounter with the Queen, which I thought was awesome. Seasonal themed menus combines with classic dishes with playful presentation. You'll begin with a selection of shared appetizers, hunter's pie with chicken, black truffle, and stone fruit preserve. They have a winter squash with a caramel loli and served with blackened cauldron. And a blackened cauldron. That's actually really cool.
That sounds kind of cool.
Wicked shrimp cocktail with soy, miso, avocado, and chili and greens. And from the garden, an array of fruits, vegetables, cheese, and create your own honey butter. For the main entrees, you'll have the choice of one of the many unique dishes, such as the royal prime rib with horseradish mashed potatoes, hay smoked carrots, popover, and just as well as magic mirror slow braised veal shank with mashed potato, celery root, wilted wintergreens, and au jus. Or if your seafood is more your style, try the seafood stew with shrimp, bay scallops, mussels, tomatoes, and fennel. Kids menu real quick. The same appetizers and desserts are obviously the same for adults and kids. The dinners have the princess pasta, choice of, which type of red sauce or cheese sauce, the vegetarian stream bun, and a grilled chicken and royal prime rib roast. Shared desserts for the table include the mini treasure made up of sponge cake, chocolate gems, and a buttercream icing, and the fairy tale gooseberry pie with margarine. The poison apple is made of white chocolate apple mousse with a sour center. They're actually really cute looking. And then we're not going to, I guess we'll just go into the drinks real quick because they're actually really cool looking drinks. Cocktails on offer include the Enchanted Apple with citrus vodka, sour apple, and white cranberry juice, or Summon the Smoking Mirror. And yes, the glass does smoke. Smoking Mirror with scotch, wild berry, lime, and rosemary smoke. There is also an Evil to the Core with silver tequila, blackberry, and orange juice, a variety of beers, and also along with regular drinks.
Okay, so
how do you feel about that menu?
It's interesting that you ask, because I think there would be many things that I would try. I think my wife would probably go for something as I say simple, as I will say more recognizable as prime rib.
The prime rib did sound good though.
Yeah, it does. And there was someone that actually made a comment in our chat about don't know how many kids are really going to enjoy those types of offerings, and I understand where that was coming from, since if you're an adult, or if you're 10 and over, you're considered an adult and you're paying for it as an adult. This is definitely one of those eateries that doesn't have a lot of offerings that I like to say are crossover offerings, that are good for that pre-tween, tween type of palate. Which, let's face it, it's kind of a challenge no matter where you go. But a lot of those things sounds like I would try. I don't know if my wife would totally try. Again, the prime rib is something I think both my wife and my son would totally go for. I think my daughter and I would be a little more adventurous. That seafood stew type of thing sounds really good, up until where they add the fennel. I'm not really a huge fennel person.
Fennel's good.
Because fennel kind of tastes a little bit like licorice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's just that's me. But you know what? That's okay. Just because it may not be my my favorite offering doesn't mean it might not be somebody else's. But those are, I would certainly like to try it. And the desserts, I've never had. What was the pie? It was not blackberry.
Blackberry.
Blackberry. I've never had a blackberry pie before, and so
blackberry's good, but it's sweet.
No, I'm sure it's sweet, but I've never had anything like that before. I would love to try it. So, this is the place that I would like to try. The thing of it is that for the price, it doesn't sound too bad. For a character meal, for some upscale dishes, I don't think that's too bad. I don't know.
The kids menu is pretty basic. It has chicken tenders on it. It has a pasta on it. It has a prime rib on it.
It's kind of, actually, to tell you the truth, it kind of reminds me of the children's offerings over at California Grill. California Grill, even the kids menu has, a filet.
Listen, I don't have kids, so this might come off sounding very judgmental, and that's not what I'm getting at. I just had a very wide listen, I am a very wide human, and I had a very wide selection of foods growing up, and my taste buds were all over the place. I would try anything. I still do. I mean, your kid's eating a lot of chicken fingers, pizza, and hamburgers throughout this entire trip. Spicing it up with a little pasta or prime rib ain't gonna hurt nobody.
No.
But once again, I don't have kids, and I get that kids can be pains in the tushies when they want to eat. So can adults.
Yeah.
So can adults.
But, you know, to have Snow White, Snow White, Grumpy, Dopey, you know.
And the witch.
And the witch. I always call her the witch, too. But you're right. The queen. You know, it sounds like it's going to be a more upscale character meal over at Artist Palette, over at Wilderness Lodge. I think that really is, as much as I will miss the opportunity to be able to go and enjoy a regular menu at Artist Palette, it does sound like it's going to still be something that's upscale. And let me go ahead and say this. I think this kind of goes right into my book of things I wish I did. Or maybe I should say things I wish I didn't put off. Because I've had opportunities to eat at Artist Palette, and I didn't do it. And that's my fault. That's not Disney's fault. And it kind of goes along the lines of saying, you know what? I know we all have our favorites, but sometimes you got to try something different because you don't know if it's going to be there the next time. There you go.
Yeah, it's very true. And just like, you know, as much as I thought that menu was great, the topic that I really personally wanted to get to was how I haven't been there to see it yet. Haven't been there to experience it yet. I really think Caribbean Beach might turn into my favorite resort moderate over Riverside. Have you seen the things that they're doing over there?
I have. And to be very honest, I think Caribbean Beach is going to once again be a huge contender in the moderate market. To be very honest, I mean, I've told you before, my favorites are still Riverside and French Quarter in the sense of my favorite moderates. But when I stayed at Caribbean Beach, I thought the rooms were themed beautifully. It has one of the best moderate pools anywhere. And now that they're, you know, really have built things up, and now that they've, you know, got that whole food court and everything ready, you know, Sebastian's is their sit-down eatery. And it not only does it look so good, I'll tell you something, Shutters, the place that it replaces, was a hidden gem. No one believed me. And it was fabulous. So if Sebastian's keeps going in that tradition, I personally believe that it's going to continue to be a hit. Once this is all done, I will really make it a point to stay at Caribbean Beach one more time. I shouldn't say one more time.
It's so big.
I'll just try to get... Well, you know what? Riverside is big, too, if you think about it.
If you think about it, yeah. You know what it is this is so wide open and big. You're like, whoa, this is so big. I got to walk all the way over there. But when you think about it, you walk through Riverside, it's just because there's trees, there's foliage. It's a little bit tighter, narrow. And you start walking, you're like, oh, boy, I'm in the alligator bayou? Building 7? Whoa. I gotta walk.
But also it's the same thing. You know, it's also the same thing when you stay at Coronado Springs. Yeah. But the thing is, you know, you can do a good walk around the lagoon that they have there, and it's because it's really spread out. But people stay there all the time because they love that resort. They love that pool area. They love the rooms. They love the decor, and it's got some good eateries and things like that. Great service. The fact of the matter is, I think when it comes to pricing, the moderates are usually very closely priced together in a sense of, you know, not much of a difference between one room at one place and the same room at the other. I think it's going to make choosing moderate resorts much more difficult to do in the upcoming future.
I disagree only because I think that Coronado is going to be expensive right off the bat. Just because of all the money they dumped into it.
You know what? I'll counter your comment and say, I don't think it's going to be much more expensive, but I don't think they're going to have deals on that resort as much.
Yes,
I think that's going to be the key player because, you may not necessarily have a free dining offer to go along with it while you're staying there. You may not necessarily have big room discounts while you're staying there versus rack rate. I think rack rate may still be relatively competitive with the moderates, but you're not going to see the big discounts. Same as it still kind of goes for Art of Animation. Art of Animation is the value resort that doesn't get discounted all that often. Yeah. So kind of, and it's my thought process there. I'm speculating, but still.
Yeah, it's funny because literally the first sentence of the article, the previous table service offering at Resort Shutters was not very well received. Literally for almost what you said. You thought it was a hidden gem, but to make it a hidden gem means that nobody was going to it.
Well, Boatwright's is a hidden gem, but people still don't necessarily go there. I just think that there are some of these places that people are missing because they're not heavily themed. They're tucked away a little bit at the resorts. I mean, people are just not trying. Take Olivia's, for example. One of the best restaurants on property, hands down.
I've been dying to go, man.
Well, dude, you know what? I think that during your next trip, I think you need to work it out. But my whole take on it is this: Shutters was good, and I think anybody who actually went there and really gave it a try, they liked it. But I'll also say this: Coronado's food court was also very, very good. My wife really liked it. I really liked it. They had great breakfast choices. I don't know. It's just kind of funny.
What I really like is not only did they redo Shutters, they made it Sebastian's Grill. We're going to go through their menu here in a second. But they used the space wisely, and they added on to the Sebastian's Grill, and they built a all-new Banana Cabana bar and lounge, which is covered but has outside seating with the string lights to go around, so you can be out there all the time. And I'm not a huge Caribbean style
like jerk chicken
decor.
Or anything like that. Oh, I thought you were going to say style food.
Nah, I'm not really their style food either, but the menu seemed pretty interesting. What I liked about the inside of Sebastian's is they made it very elegant. They didn't go with the bright colors. They went with the wood ceiling to match the wood floors, and they have a lot of whites and blues. They made it more beachy and homey, and to really pull in the Sebastian vibe. First of all, the menu, how it says Sebastian on the side with the little Sebastian on the cover, absolutely stunning. Just to touch on a few things, I have their full menu, but I don't want to bore people with a full menu. So we have a couple things. Menu items stay very true to the Caribbean with things like skirt steak, chimichurri with crispy yucca, citrus stuffed, whole fish. So once again, we're seeing this whole fish come back into Disney, like Skipper Canteen has. Interesting. That comes with a brown rice with a lime vinaigrette, sauteed shrimp and tamales with roasted peppers and salsa verde. They also have a slow-cooked pork and chili mango barbecue sauce with a crispy avocado and bacon burger with chimichurri and pico de gallo on top. There is a lot to choose from the menu, and you'll easily go with an assortment of appetizers and desserts, and you could always just skip the main dishes altogether. They had a pull-apart rolls, which are rolls that are buttery and flaky, and pull apart into about 8 strips of fine bread. So right off the top, we already see they're basically pulling things from other places. Like, let's talk about a whole fish, like they have at Skipper Canteen. Now you're starting to see it's not the same thing as a bread service from Sanaa, but you're starting to see they're starting to hear you guys. And I don't think you people realize this. As much as me and you joke, and we got 40 some odd people watching us, the bigger Lou has 100 and some odd people watching them. I mean, these shows and the people blogging and all the people on YouTube, you guys don't realize that as consumers of a product, you are consumers of the behind the ears product. But we are providing a service that is brought to you by Disney. These small little things over time, they get back to Disney. People starting to, and obviously sales do, the same thing as you guys talking about it, but they're starting to see like, oh, we can get a little wild with our menus. People like that. Oh, this whole fish is creepy looking, but people keep buying it. They know about the bread service. I'm just saying, I think it's cool, and I think Sebastian's, you're starting to see a little bit of that, and then also bring in that ethnic flair. Like they have these tostones and aprentas and homemade crackers with a black bean hummus, a guacamole, or a pico de gallo. And there's a lot of shareables. There's a lot of dipping. I'm seeing a lot of, it's not an empanada, but what is this? Oh, it's a Jamaican meat pie. Have you ever had a Jamaican meat pie?
I have not, but I would probably try it.
It is freaking delicious. Once again, they have a grilled steaks, a grilled skirt steak for, I don't want to call it the basic eater because there's a lot of spices on that, but you could essentially just get that plain. Even they have their exotic, drinks and, desserts, but at the same time, they have the more basic things because, they want to bring the whole family in. And Chris is the prime example of that, where Chris and your daughter, right? You guys are the more adventurous eaters, where your wife and your son are more of picky eaters. Or basic. The more, you guys have a more out there taste buds, and their taste buds are not boring, but they're confined. They like what they like. And we all get like that. There's plenty of days I go out and I'll look at a menu and I'll be like, wow, that sounds great. And Lindsay will turn to me and be like, oh, I'm surprised you're not trying something crazy. And I'm like, I'm just looking for homey food right now. I just want a burger and fries. And, that's all I really wanted. There's plenty of days. And then there's days I go out, I'm like, give me the escargot. I want the clams in the half shell. And she's like, Danny, you're at Burger King. Yeah, don't worry about it. Tell them to put the clams in the bag. No. But you know what I mean. Like,
I'll take onion rings and I'll just pretend.
Yeah, right. But I love what I'm seeing from this hotel. I love what I'm seeing from Sebastian's so far. Most appetizers is what I've seen ranging between $10, $15. Most of the mains about $30. I would say 30 is the highest I would say they go up to. Drinks and desserts, once again, you're in that $10 to $15 range.
Which, if you think about it, this is going to be the kind of place that you're going to be on the border on whether or not it is worth using a table service credit for if you're on the dining plan. Because, well, since the dining plan only consists of, entree and dessert, the fact of the matter is, yeah, okay, if your highest of entree plus dessert plus drink is about $50 total, then you also got to, I'm just saying, it's like you're going to be right on that border if you're really going to get the most out of a dining credit for that particular establishment.
So Sebastian's is open for lunch from 11 to 4 and dinner from 4 to 10 daily. Annual pass holders will receive a 10% discount. This is what I think is the best thing so far of what I've read. The dining plan is only 1 credit.
And I think it makes sense to be only 1 credit. It would not be worth 2 credits. That's for darn sure.
Yeah. No, I just like the fact that they didn't get
crazy.
Sometimes I feel like Disney will be like, oh, let's do it for 2. Let's see how many people complain, but we'll get a couple people in there, and then we'll just drop it down to 1.
Kind of going along the same lines. Do you mind if I change the topic for a second?
Yeah, please. We're done there.
Okay.
Anyway.
So here's something else to think about. And this is an example of Disney fine-tuning things as things move on. So there is the reunion station over at Wilderness Lodge / Copper Creek Villas. And it's kind of over on the DVC side of the house. And, they were offering some, different things that you can do there, different classes and stuff like that you can do during the day at a cost. But they also offered DVC members kind of a concierge service that was an option. In other words, they don't have a concierge floor. They don't have a club level floor there, but you were able to, for $50 a person for an adult, you were able to basically get concierge level perks at Reunion Station, such as like a light continental breakfast, and in the evening you can get, kind of a light dinner type thing with beer and cocktails and wine and stuff like that. And for kids, obviously, it was less. The problem of it is that if you were staying there, or obviously you had to be staying there to do it, you had to get it for your entire stay. So if you were staying for 5 nights, and that could easily become a couple $100 extra per night for that extra club level stuff. Now, I know that you and I have both stayed club level. We both have some slightly differing opinions on it, depending on what our experiences were. But for some people, they really enjoy to go and have a few cocktails, relax, have a nice, little bit of a dinner there, and it's great. Well, nobody really used the service because it was assumedly too expensive. So what they're doing now, and this is actually, I think this is really cool, because it's an optional service. Now they're saying that you can, in essence, choose how many days of that service you would like for your stay. So if you're there for 5 nights and you only want it for 2, then all you had to do is pay that extra for 2 nights while you're there. And
I like that idea.
I think it's a great idea. And I think, to tell you the truth, if I was staying there and I wanted to try it out, I would be more apt to be able to spend, well, I guess all my kids are considered adults. It would be $200 for a night. Do I think I would get $200 worth of value out of it? Not necessarily. If it was just my wife and I, it's closer to it. But
yeah,
in fact, I think a lot of couples love it, because if you think about it, $50 a night per person. If you sit back there for a couple hours and you have, dare I say, 4 or 5 cocktails or 4 or 5 drinks or something, which over a course of 3 or 4 hours is not excessive by any stretch of the imagination.
No, you should easily be fine.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be a blip on my radar. But the thing of it is that if you would go to the lounge and spend 4 hours there with 5 or 6 drinks, you're easily paying $50 a person.
Yeah.
Easy. So the thing is that there are ways to play it. And you can, you can do it in such a way where that you can use it to benefit you the most. I think Disney heard what people were saying about it, as well as not seeing the, people signing up for it. I know that there have been people, vlogging about it, and it looked really great, but there was like nobody there. And so you kind of, you could have the greatest service in the world, but if you accidentally price yourself out, you got to make a market correction. And I think that's what Disney did, and I applaud them for doing that. And I am more apt to do it now. So I'll just go ahead.
I still say it's a little pricey, but
yeah, but you know what? Concierge service at any of the club level places, it's about the same price extra, if you think about it.
Yeah, the nice thing is you're not locked into it the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So but that's the nice part, because they don't have a club level. This is their version of an optional club level. I mean,
yeah.
When we've stayed club level at the Poly, I can honestly say that the price difference between club level and non-club level would be about the same as the service offered over at Reunion Station, give or take for variances, because that was 5 years ago. That was the year that my daughter graduated high school, so it's about the same. And so I would probably do it. And I do want to stay at Copper Creek sometime in the near future.
Yeah. That does Copper Creek look nice too.
It does. It looks so nice. I love, the thing is, I love Wilderness Lodge in general. And it's my favorite. I really think between that and Wilderness Lodge, really are my favorite resorts for just relaxing. I could sit in those lobbies and do nothing and feel relaxed.
Oh yeah.
I still Old Key West. I still love a lot. I still want to figure out how I'm going to go back to the Grand Floridian. So I don't know. You know what? Even I, as a DVC member, I can still go to dvc-rental.com, talk to Scott over there, and try to figure out if I could rent some extra points, just for a trip. Quite honestly, I would do that. Even as a DVC member, I still rent points from people. So there you go.
Oh, you still need points.
Oh yeah,
it happens.
It happens. And here's my other problem. I'm getting to the point now where I'm kind of getting Ed-on-itis for the first time in 10 years. Where I want.
Oh really?
I'm finally to the point where it's like, man, if I just had another small contract, so I may even.
I just had another 900 points.
Yeah, even if I had another 50 points or another even 25 points, I may even be contacting buyandselldvc.com to see if there is a contract that would work with the way that I vacation. So we'll have to kind of figure that up a little bit. So
awesome. All right. Anything else you want to add?
No, I just I think for a feature Thursday we're just kind of relaxed. It's getting to that point where I don't know about you, but it's getting a little bit colder here now, and I'm kind of feeling.
Oh, it was 80 here.
Oh, it was 55 degrees. It was outside right now. It's in the 40s right now. I went to go to church tonight, and I walked out with a jacket on and shorts, and my wife's like, "You're gonna freeze." I'm like, "Have you seen my chubby legs? I'm not gonna freeze."
55 sounds wonderful. I was sweating. I had my air conditioning on full blast at work.
Man, let's put it this way. I woke up this morning, and a little bit later, I came into my office and I had my window wide open, and it was like 50 degrees outside, and I'm like, my office. I haven't had my office this cold in so long, because I have like seven computers running in my office at any time, so it gets warm in here just naturally. So I'm like, oh, it feels so good. So it's just really kind of crazy. But I don't have anything else. And Danny, I hope you have a great weekend, man. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Man.
Take us away.
You got it. You heard the show, and we hope you want more. Well, feel free to join us over at our social media platforms. Instagram and our Facebook page can be found at Behind the Ears Podcast. Our webpage is behindtheearspodcast.net, and our email is behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. And our Twitter handle is @BehindTheEarsPC. And come and join the conversation about all things Disney over at the WDW community page. Don't forget to rate and review the show over at iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as it really helps us get the word out about the show. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or the Podbean app. Also, you can listen to us on Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and via Alexa and Google Home. Danny,
sorry, I forgot to take that down. Yeah,
you're seeing at the football game. I know what you're doing. I could see it. Kind of like the background is like getting lighter than darker. You're watching a football game while we're running the out roll. Thanks.
Hey, better me watch it during the out roll than while you were talking. Just be like.
Thank you, and I certainly appreciate the attention to detail.
Bad business. Oh, man. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Ears Podcast. Once again, I am Uncle Danny. That was Mr. Chris. We thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget, we go live every Tuesday and Thursday at 9:45 p.m. Eastern. But if you are just a podcast listener, Chris has been doing a fantastic job pumping out those episodes every Tuesday and Thursday for your listening pleasure. So with that being said, everybody, hope you all have a wonderful and safe weekend. We do send our prayers to everybody up in the Panhandle and everybody who's being affected. It's Hurricane Michael, right? Is that the name of it? Hurricane Michael? Yes. And anybody still recovering from the previous hurricane. With that being said, everybody, tuck your kids in tight, wear your seatbelts. Have a splendid weekend. I am Uncle Danny. Until Tuesday.
And I'm Mr. Chris. It's great having you all here tonight. Thank you so much for making us just, one of the greatest shows. It is because of you, our listeners, that help us make this just an absolutely fantastic program for everybody to enjoy. Thank you so much for that. We really love you guys, and we just thank you for being a part of the show. I'll tell you what, until we meet again, I hope that everything is excellent and you have a magical day. Take care.